The legacy of Joy Boy permeates through the entire world of One Piece. This mysterious figure represents many things to different actors in this vast world. For the world government, he's a sworn enemy whose memory, along with the entire Void Century, has been consciously repressed violently. For the oppressed races of this world, he represents a warrior of liberation, prophesied to return and challenge the world government's autocratic rule. So who exactly is Joy Boy, and what do we know about this character till now? The first mention of Joy Boy is during the Fishman Island arc, when the archaeologist of the Straw Hat Pirates, Nico Robin, reads out his name from a poneglyph. In this document left from the time of the Void Century, within which Joy Boy resided, the individual is apologizing to the fishmen for not fulfilling a particular promise. This apology is directed toward the Mermaid Princess and the inheritor of the ancient weapon Poseidon, of which the current princess is Shirahoshi, an ally of the Straw Hat Pirates. Apparently, the promise referred to in this document was Joy Boy's wish to save the Noah ship to raise Fishman Island to the surface, where they could live alongside all other races of the world. For some reason, Joy Boy failed to fulfill this wish and promised to return in the future to complete the destiny of the Fishman people. From this, we know that Joy Boy lived during the time of the Void Century, where he was closely allied to fishmen, especially the original inheritor of the ancient weapon Poseidon. What else is there? Well, from this alone, we can derive that Joy Boy was related to the ancient kingdom that vanished from the map after the end of the Void Century, when the world government came to power. We know about this entity through the research of the Ohara Island inhabitants, who were brutally genocided just on the basis of that knowledge. This means not only that those in power are absolutely terrified of this old kingdom, but also that Joy Boy's relation to it makes him an enemy as well. In other words, Joy Boy was also an enemy of the 20 kingdoms that eventually became the monolithic rulers of the 4 seas, especially Imu. Here, the fact that there is a giant straw hat hidden away in a cold cellar in the holy land of Marie Joie might be related to Joy Boy as well. Here, we're entering the realm of theory, but as will be shown below, there's concrete evidence to theorize that this straw hat belonged to none other than Joy Boy. Why do we say that? Well, for the simple reason that Luffy himself is a reincarnation of Joy Boy. During Wano Arc, when our hero activates his all-white Gear 5th form, the giant elephant Zunesha remarks that Joy Boy has returned. Through this form, Luffy's powers are limited only by his imagination, and his heartbeat takes a form that doesn't stop him from laughing and making light of situations. He literally becomes the embodiment of laughter and joy, something which turns out to be a literal reference to the original Joy Boy. It is this heartbeat which Zunesha believes to be the drums of liberation that are being heard for the first time in 800 years, and are identical to the heartbeat of Joy Boy. Since Luffy's straw hat, which he inherited from Shanks and Goldie Roger, is identical to the one that resides in the Holy Land, there's a concrete link that relates it to the old Joy Boy as well. For if Luffy is a reincarnation of Joy Boy, then the straw hat, which eventually made its way to Luffy after passing the hands of Shanks and Roger, could also be a nod to the original Joy Boy as well. So we know that Joy Boy is related to the fishmen's struggle for recognition and equality, has a heartbeat that resembles the drums of liberation, and is also somehow related to the elephant Zunesha as well. We know for a fact that this giant animal, who hosts the Zou Island on his back, used to be a companion of Joy Boy during the Void Century. As a matter of fact, Zunesha's seemingly random and unaware movements are him serving time for the crimes he committed against the world government. He was actually freed and given agency again by Kozuki Momonosuke, who somehow has the ability to hear the voice of all things, and gave freedom to Zunesha, which he used to help Straw Hat during the Wano arc. We don't know what these crimes were, but considering the way Zunesha lit up upon hearing the heartbeat of Joy Boy, it isn't too unrealistic to assume that the two were close companions who fought together against the 20 kingdoms. Next, we come to the most important fact that has been revealed to us about Joy Boy. He's the original holder of the One Piece treasure. Yes, we have been led to believe since the start of One Piece that the titular treasure was left behind by the Pirate King Goldie Roger. However, the treasure far precedes Roger's adventures and has existed for over 800 years, since the time of Joy Boy. As a matter of fact, Roger very consciously kickstarts the Great Pirate Era upon his execution, for the sole purpose of making sure that the treasure of Joy Boy, the One Piece, reaches safe hands. Throughout the latter part of Roger's journey, where his crew is navigating the position of the final island, which no man has entered since the world government was established, he and his crewmate, Kozuki Oden, could hear the voices of sea creatures who prophesied that their savior will be born. This already hinted to them the existence of a mythical figure who will return after their death, a figure we now know is Luffy himself. Next, when the crew reached the final island and confronted the treasure they longed for, they laughed uncontrollably. It is here that Roger remarks, "Joy Boy, I wish I lived in your era. How could you leave this stupendous treasure? It is such a funny story." He then names the island Laugh-Tale and remarks that they have come too early since Joy Boy has not yet been reincarnated. Oden writes about this in his journal, allowing us to acquire keen knowledge about the role of Joy Boy in both the world of One Piece and the literal treasure itself. It is to welcome this figure who will arise and embody the will of Joy Boy that Oden set his sights toward opening up Wano to the world. Of course, Oden would die before this dream would be realized, but his son and the retainers of Oden were there to welcome Luffy to Wano and witness his transformation into Joy Boy. Lastly, we know that Luffy's devil fruit is actually a god fruit, whose awakening turns him into the sun god Nika. Now, we don't know what Nika is and how he's related to Joy Boy, but we know that there's a clear, intimate relationship between these two entities. Firstly, Nika and the sun god are seen as symbols of liberation. As Kaido's crewmate, Who's Who, mentioned, prisoners and slaves invoke the sun god Nika as their savior, who will liberate them through laughter and joy. The sun, or the dawn, is seen as such a symbol by all oppressed races of One Piece, especially the Shandorans and the Fishmen. For example, the Sun Pirates of Fisher Tiger had the emblem of the sun, and swore as its goal to liberate the Fishmen and other enslaved races from the yoke of the world government. Another example of this in recent chapters have been the Buccaneers, who have been historically enslaved by the world government for committing an unforgivable crime in the past. They too look toward Joy Boy as their savior, and also seem to know the tune to the drums of liberation, tunes that have been passed down through the generations of Buccaneers. This begs the question also of the historical relationship of these races with Nika and Joy Boy. The WG, at least the Five Elders, are well aware of the existence of Nika and have tried their level best to suppress the devil fruit which embodies the will of Nika, now revealed to be Luffy's Gomu Gomu no Mi. We don't know the exact relationship between Nika and Joy Boy, but the two names are often used interchangeably and to refer to the same things. For example, while the world government sees Luffy as being Nika, and while the Buccaneers dance like Nika to the drums of liberation, Zunisha sees Luffy as the return of Joy Boy. Hence, there's quite a lot of speculation on what the exact relationship between the two is. Perhaps Nika is the mythical will of Joy Boy, who exists through the desire for freedom and liberation which exists within the enslaved masses of One Piece. Or maybe Nika was another companion of Joy Boy's adventures, or the ruler of the ancient kingdom, which this individual was supposedly linked to. The theories and speculations are endless, so we know that Joy Boy was a figure who existed during the Void Century and was a companion of Poseidon and Zunisha. Secondly, we know that it is the treasure Joy Boy left on Laugh Tale which is now renowned as the fabled One Piece. It is this treasure which makes Roger and his crew laugh, and it is through their adventures that they discover the eventual reincarnation of Joy Boy, exactly 800 years after the end of the Void Century. Thirdly, this reincarnation is in fact Luffy in his Gear 5 form, a form which has been linked to both Joy Boy and the Sun God of Liberation, Nika. These revelations have led to lots of speculation and theory on what Joy Boy exactly is. For example, the Ancient Kingdom was supposedly a very advanced civilization that had reached technological excellence that has been recreated by Vegapunk on Egghead. Does Vegapunk know something about Joy Boy? Perhaps the awakened robot on Egghead, who once scaled the Holy Land, used to be a companion of Joy Boy as well. Lastly, we can say that Joy Boy was a giant, or perhaps a buccaneer. If the giant straw hat did belong to him, then this theory is more than plausible. According to Saturn, the Buccaneers committed an unforgivable crime for which they cannot be forgiven for the rest of time. Maybe this crime was the very fact that Joy Boy, or Nika, belonged to this race. There are lots of exciting theories, and if we know anything about One Piece up till now, it's that Eiichiro Oda loves to play with mysteries that are all linked to the wider world and ideas espoused in One Piece. Thanks for watching! Don't forget to subscribe and check out this other very interesting video appearing on screen. That said, see you in the next one!